good evening. Welcome to your Wealth, a show that looks at all things money markets and investments. And today on this show, we're going to be looking at Africa Continental Free Trade Area and how Zimbabwe as a nation can benefit from this, and also how youths can take advantage of this Africa Continental Free Trade Area. And in the studio, I'm joined by Donald Jose, who is the coordinator for Students for Liberty Zimbabwe. He's going to be helping us to unpack what Africa Continental Free Trade is all about and how Zimbabwe can benefit from it. Good evening.
Good evening, Kozi. How are you?
I am very well. Let me get straight into my first question. What exactly is Africa Continental Free Trade Area, and why is it considered a game changer for Africa's economic future?
Okay, so African Continental Free Trade Area is a flagship agreement by the African Union Agenda 2063, and its aim is to build sustainable and inclusive development for all countries in the Africa. So its aim is to make sure that each and every country is going to develop economically through this agreement and through this project. So it's a project that is aiming to build sustainable future for all countries. So we have different countries, different African countries that are part of this agreement, and Zimbabwe happily is part of the agreement. It's a signatory of this agreement.
Okay. Now, when you're talking about Africa Continental Free Trade Area, are we talking about removing tariffs, removing taxes when we're talking about trade within the African continent?
Yes. We are talking about removing those trade tariffs, because we believe if we create one main market for all those countries, we have 54 countries that are part of the agreement. So we believe that if you remove all those tariffs and taxes, now we are going to create a single market that is going to make sure that each and every country is going to benefit from the trade that is going to happen between all those different countries, because it's aiming to create a free market for goods and services. So people will be trading freely without paying any tax. So, this is going to be a benefit even to the Zimbabwe's economy, even to some of the social issues, because we believe if the economy is stable, everything is going to be stable.
Okay, interesting. And I heard you talking about that Zimbabwe is a signatory to this board. Now, I've got a question, because it seems like not a lot of people are aware of this, Why do you think awareness is still low, especially among the youth?
Okay, so talking about the youth, our generation, we don't bother to seek information.
Okay.
So that's why we believe, at Student for Liberty, we believe in educating and developing this youth, because we believe if we share information with them, they will take action. So, many youth are into entrepreneurship, many youth are so innovative and creative, but they lack this information, this kind of information. Just imagine some of the youth who are into entrepreneurship and they don't know about this project. So we believe that raising awareness among those youth is going to create more opportunities when it comes to trade, when it comes to entrepreneurship. Every youth is going to benefit, and it will be leading to the economic growth of our country, creating job opportunities, creating sustainable development for our country.
Okay. Now, do you have any, or rather, have you started, raising awareness to the youths? What have you done in order for you to raise awareness, to the youths who are into businesses?
Okay, so what we do at Student for Liberty, we host events, and mainly in most of our events, we make sure that we talk about African Continental Free Trade Area. To those people who attend, many of them, they know about this project, and we emphasize on those who attend to go and disseminate that information to other youth who are in the community, because not everyone is going to come for that event. So we believe if we educate two youth today, they are going to educate maybe 5 people in their community. And now this is how information is going to spread around Zimbabwe, because we realize that, yes, this is something for the whole country, but only few people know about it. So we believe in continuing educating people about this project.
Indeed, I love what you said. You said that the youths are not forthcoming in terms of acquiring knowledge or information, in regards to certain things, that are taking place in the country. And for me, it's actually a new perspective that you've brought in to say the youths themselves, they are the ones that are not going for that information. Rather they are waiting for people to just come and give them that information, stuff like that. So thank you for bringing that up. Now, in what ways can young entrepreneurs in Zimbabwe and across Africa, benefit directly from AFC FTA?
Okay, so I'll give you an example on that. Just imagine an entrepreneur who is maybe making snacks, those Zepinex, from maybe, I don't know, potato chips here in Zimbabwe. If that young entrepreneurship is going to trade with those youth in Kenya, now they are going to create international opportunity. Their brand here in Zimbabwe is going to be known in Kenya, in Nigeria, in Tanzania. So now we are building a brand for Zimbabwe that is going all over internationally. And now for our country, we are going to be known. What are we doing? What resources are we making use of? So those youth are going to create opportunities for themselves, one, and for the country, two, because many people are going to come and say, okay, we want to trade with Zimbabwe because we noticed they are producing this kind of product, which is good, which is something favorable.
Okay, all right. Now, my question to you is, since you have known about, AFCFTA for so long, do you have any practical examples of people who have actually, started, taking part in this free trade and they've actually seen results from it?
Okay, so on that one, it's something that is still trying to impact people on how best can they go about it. Because, even now in Zimbabwe, there are a lot of challenges as youth that we face, maybe in terms of capital. So as we raise awareness, we are trying to make sure that when we talk about AFCTA, we are even giving them information on how they can raise capital so that they can contribute to the project. Because we now need to build something that is known, a brand. Okay, when I'm trading with Kenya, maybe I have something that I want to trade with Kenya. It should be something, a brand that is known even in my country, because I can't just go to Kenya and trade with those people, something that is not even known in my country. Okay. So yeah, it's still a process, but I think we are going there.
All right. Well, thank you very much for putting that out, and I believe that what you've said has actually opened our viewers' eyes in regards to what free trade is all about and how youths can actually benefit from this. So thank you very much. When we come back in the second segment, I think we're going to be focusing much more on the challenges that youths face when it comes to issues of free trade. So I think we'll discuss that in the second segment.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much, viewers, for joining us for the first segment of Your Wealth. We'll be back shortly. Welcome back to the second segment of Your Wealth, and in the studio I'm joined by Donald Jose, who is a coordinator for Students for Liberty Zimbabwe, and today we're talking about Africa Continental Free Trade Area and how youths can benefit from this free trade. Now we're just talking about some of the challenges that youths face when it comes to the issue of free trade, and you spoke about capital. Now can you go a bit deeper on what some of the challenges that may prevent young entrepreneurs from fully benefiting from AFCFTA, and how can these be overcome?
Okay, so on that one, I think I will start by talking about knowledge, insufficient knowledge about this trade. So, many people are into entrepreneurship, but few of them, they wouldn't just know what do they want to achieve. So I believe if the first thing what we need to do is to educate those people. Okay, let's say we have 10 youth who are into entrepreneurship. We give them knowledge on how best can they be effective entrepreneurship for the country. So if they have knowledge now, they are not going to just complain that we don't have capital. Maybe there are some of the projects or things that can be started without much capital. So we need to make sure we educate them, not only to complain, but to be innovative and creative and creating opportunities that will sustain them when they indulge into African continental free trade area. So I think knowledge is the first thing. Then resource limitations. In our country, a lot of people are struggling to find resources to start even small businesses. So I think we need to make sure that we have more information about how best can we approach people who can give us knowledge on how to mobilize resources in whatever that we want to do, so that we can be easily navigate our businesses, those small businesses, those SMEs. So I think if we work on resource mobilization, so that people cannot just continue to complain about lack of resources. So I think if we work on that, knowledge first, and then give people access to sustainable resources so that they can easily get into African Free Trade Continental Area with full information and with full resources so that they can be in a competitive action.
All right. Well, thank you very much for pulling that out. Now, what role can institutions like schools, government agencies, and business incubators, play in preparing youths to take advantage of AFCFTA?
Okay, so I will start with secondary education or secondary schools. I think that's where we need to start, because if we teach those children about these projects, about these economic issues that will sustain their future, it will be wiser. Because if someone in Form 4 know about the AFCTA right now, when he reaches into the university level, it will be easy for them to navigate easy ways to be part of this project, because most of them, they lack knowledge, as we emphasized. So if these institutions or these colleges make sure that whenever there are some of the what can I call them, modules, in university, there are some of the modules, maybe in economics, maybe in development studies, we need to make sure that maybe there are some clubs at that institution that talk about the African Free Trade Continental Area, so that everyone at the school will be aware of this, because we want to create education that is feasible, that is sustainable. Because one of, maybe two of the youth in that campus are into entrepreneurship, but they are studying psychology. At the end of the day, when they finish school, they want something tangible and feasible that they need to do. So if they know about this project, it will be easily for them to venture into business, to venture into entrepreneurship. So I think education about AFCTA should be available in institutions, available in colleges, so that everyone should be aware.
All right. Now, you spoke about secondary schools and high schools. What about primary schools? Are you not also looking into, getting this program also, being part of the syllabus for the young ones, so that at least when they get to, those high schools or secondary, they will at least have, some sort of information which can actually help them to start businesses and also venture into these opportunities at a very tender age?
Okay, thank you for that question. So I believe in primary education, there are subjects like agriculture, which are compulsory subjects. So in agriculture, there are various topics that are covered. I believe some of them are to do with agriculture, some of them are to do with business. So I think, it should be also incorporated in primary schools, so that it will start at the earlier stage, so that when they grow up, they will grow up with that mindset. When we sing our national anthem at primary school, even up to now, I remember the national anthem.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Indeed. Well, again, we spoke about schools, we spoke about, high schools and primary schools, but what about government agencies? Like, what role can they play?
Okay, so on government agencies, I think they need also to make sure that whenever they have events, maybe whenever they have some feedback meetings, in communities, government agencies work closely with community members, having feedback meetings. So on those meetings, I think it will be wiser also to include such topics about AFCTA, educate community members about the project, so that we don't leave anyone without knowledge about the project. Everyone should be aware. It should be a topic that will be in our fingertips. If we talk about it, no one should be like, what is this? Everyone should be knowing this.
All right, well, interesting. And how does AFCFTA encourage innovation and foreign direct investment, and how can the youth tap into these opportunities?
Okay, so when you talk about creativeness and innovation, I'll just give a silly example. You have your girlfriend, right? But you don't know who is after that girlfriend. But the more that you know there's someone who is targeting my girlfriend, you will make sure that you will be active, you will be all over. So I think if we create that competitiveness trade among youth, they will compete. The more they compete, they are creating what we call opportunities for everyone. Because if a product is going for $5 and someone who comes with that product are selling it at $7, someone will ask, why are these same products have different value. So in that sense, we are creating competition, but this competition is going to lead to innovation, because I'm going to come up with a product that is a bit different, trying to be innovative and creative, so that I'll make sure that in the market I can fit in easily. So I think, yeah, maybe when you talk about investment, you know, whenever there is economic stability, investors will come and they want to invest their money there. Okay, I will give an example. You know, in Zimbabwe, we have so many minerals. So if maybe we can talk about starting a company that will produce solars or batteries. So if we invest in those issues, investors are going to come, okay, to say, okay, can we help you produce these things?
All right. Well, thank you very much, for putting that out, of course, and the example that you gave, which actually it brings it closer to home. And as you're saying, this now creates competition amongst entrepreneurs, which is a good thing for the nation. So thank you very much for putting that out. And I believe as we get into the third segment, we'll talk more about, what e-commerce digital platforms can do in regards to AFCFTA. So thank you very much for that.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you very much, viewers. Join me in the third and final segment. We'll be back shortly. Welcome back to the final segment of Your Wealth, and today we are talking about African Continental Free Trade Area, and we're trying to see how Zimbabweans, can benefit from this, and also how youths can take advantage, of this free trade. And in the studio, as I have indicated, I'm joined by Donald Jose, who is the coordinator for Students for Liberty Zimbabwe, who's helping us to unpack and also just explain to us what this is all about, and how people can actually benefit from this. Now, Mr. Jose, I just want to find out from you, do you think digital entrepreneurship and e-commerce, will play a bigger role under AFCFTA? And do you think it will play a bigger role?
Of course it will, because remember, we're in the 21st century where technology is taking place. So this digital platform and digital trade will also be part of the AFCTA, and it will contribute to the large extent, because it's easily going to connect people from different African countries, and it will be easy for them to trade, because, okay, maybe on ground it will be difficult for me to get in touch with someone who is in Nigeria, but through digital platforms, digital trade, it will be easy for someone to get in touch and also get ideas from someone who is doing maybe kind of same business in Nigeria. Maybe now they are sharing ideas, they are networking. So yeah, I think it will also contribute.
Right. Oh, and from you, what message would you give to a young person, who has a business idea but doesn't see how it fits into something as big, as Africa Continental Free Trade Area?
Okay, so for me, my first advice to the young people is, let's try by all means to seek knowledge. Let's not ignore things, because I believe someone out there just come across AFCTA at the time, but they just ignored. So I think it's high time we need to leverage on technology. Make sure that each and every information that we are coming across, we make use of it, because nothing just starts big, but everything starts small. We need to make sure that we have the right knowledge at the right time.
All right. Interesting. And what practical steps can young entrepreneurs in Zimbabwe take today to start aligning their businesses with AFCFTA opportunities?
Okay, for those who have already existing businesses and SMEs, I think it's high time they try to make sure to understand what is it about the AFCTA, and make sure they measure the benefits and the challenges that maybe the AFCTA is going to give them, so that if they understand that these are some of the benefits, these are some of the challenges that we are going to face, it will be easier for them to navigate their business, to say, okay, I'm going to start this business. Is it my product going to be acceptable when in the African Free Trade Continental Area? Maybe to trade with someone who is in Tanzania, maybe to trade with someone who is in Nigeria. So they need to make sure that all those things are aligning. All those products that they are going to produce should be have international market, should be valued at the international level.
Okay. And I understand we're talking about Zimbabweans, but I know that you've traveled to some of the countries in the region. How are youths taking this Africa Continental Free Trade Area in other nations?
I think some of them are really adapting and they are taking this seriously. I will give an example of Kenya. We have someone who is our programs coordinator from Kenya. I think that lady is doing quite amazing in Kenya. He is actually advocating for this AFTA project, and most of the youth in Kenya are really into it, and because they now have knowledge about it, they can easily implement what they are learning into practical, into their small businesses. So I think it's about us wanting to know and wanting to learn. After that, we can easily say, okay, because I know this, I can easily do it.
All right. And for Zimbabweans, this information, as you said, this is readily available to people, or you only do workshops and then it ends there. Where can people find information to do with, FCFTA?
Okay, I will give a funny example again. Everyone now knows about TikTok,
Yeah.
but few people know about the AFCTA. Why? They both have data, but they choose how to use their data.
Okay.
I believe TikTok, you download it on Play Store, but Google is just something that is in your phone. So I think people now need to know what exactly do they need to do with their technology. If you just go to Google right now and you type AFCTA, you're going to get a lot of information about it. So I think besides us hosting events talking about AFCTA, I think people need to make use of the internet. Just follow maybe social media handles that are doing with the free markets that are talking about economic development. I'm sure you will find this information.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Donaldo Jose, for coming through to your wealth and laying out what Africa Continental Free Trade is all about, because people have been hearing about this, and as you have said, a lot of people have not been forthcoming in terms of getting information about it, because I think they thought it's something which is really complicated, and they were scared, to look into it. But you have come and you have made it simple for people, and also laid out the benefits that they can actually have in regards to taking part, in this free trade, especially for the youth. So thank you very much for coming through your wealth.
Okay, thank you so much for having me.
Well, there you have it, viewers. Today we were talking about Africa Continental Free Trade, and we're just trying to simplify it for viewers so that they get to understand what it is all about and the benefits you can actually get from participating, in this free trade. And, I believe as a viewer or as a youth, if you're listening, this is something that you can actually start, thinking about or trying to get information on, so that you can, expand your business. So thank you very much for coming through to your wealth. My name is Kuzafi Mchenjekwa. See you next time.